No charges filed against priest.
And the Asian carp comes to Michigan. I'm Caitlin Connon.
And I'm Dan Campen, and this is your Public Eye News. Enbridge Energy Partners are seeking to reassure about the safety of Line 5 as Michigan officials are conducting a safety review of it and other gas lines in Michigan. Line 5, which actually includes 2 lines under the Straits of Mackinac, is being analyzed to discuss its use, oversight, and the possible adding of another section. The inspections will be conducted by remotely controlled submersibles. The State Department of Environmental Quality says that these lines are reliable and haven't leaked since their installation in 1953. And no charges will be filed against Father James Manapache, who was accused of sexual abuse against minors in the late 1990s. The statute of limitations in the state of Michigan says that charges of this nature must be charged within 10 years of the crime or before the victim's 21st birthday, whichever is greater. The investigation has determined that these timeframes have both been passed. News of these allegations came to the attention of the Michigan police in February of 2014 and was then investigated by the agency, and a full report was submitted. Manapache was removed from all priestly ministry and prohibited from presenting himself as a priest in public, after the Archdiocese of Marquette deemed the allegations credible.
Invading Asian carp is making headway in Michigan. Officials say evidence of the fish has been found in the Kalamazoo River, which flows into Lake Michigan. The DNR and the Fish and Wildlife Service said that samples taken in July contained DNA from the fish. This is the first time that evidence of Asian carp has been found in the Great Lakes waters outside of Maumee Bay and Lake Erie. But officials say the carp population hasn't yet been established in the area. And students in Waters Meet School are getting some new toys. The district received $36,000 worth of new technology this year. Every student in kindergarten through 8th grade will get an iPad and a Chromebook, and high school students will have access to desktop computers in 3 different labs. Students will still raise their hands to ask questions, but instead of walking to the teacher's desk to hand in homework, they'll use their computers. In addition, students are using Odyssey-ware to prepare for the MEP tests. Students hope that the new technology will help students both in and out of the classrooms.
11 students from Lake Linden's Hubble High School are on the fast track to earning their college degrees. These students are working towards earning their 2-year associate's degree at Gogebic Community College. The students spend the first half of their day at Hubble High School and the second half at Community College. Their credits will transfer to Finlandia, Michigan Tech, and Northern Michigan University. And most of their credits will also transfer to other schools in Michigan. The best part though, it's all tuition free. Even though the program is in its first weeks, the administration is hoping to have even more interested students next year. Cartographers from the University of Madison are going to be helping the Department of Natural Resources to update the state's land cover map. The team will create a new map with a focus on how to better manage the deer population throughout the state. Satellite data will be used to describe the physical landscape, and the map will tell whether the land is forest, wetland, water, or a different environment throughout the state. Bob Novak of the Department of Natural Resources says the land cover map is outdated mainly because it is 20 years old and land changes hands often. And stay put because we'll be right back after the break with your national and international news.
Nature's 3-part special presentation continues. As penguin chicks strike out on their own, undercover cameras keep close company and sometimes become part of the family. The result is an unparalleled look at the lives of these young penguins as they learn to fend for themselves.
Wednesday evening at 8 o'clock Eastern.
Welcome back. There's good news for polar vortex survivors. The deep freeze that gripped the nation last winter isn't likely to repeat itself. Besides the obvious, this is good news because of heating costs. They won't be quite as high this year. The Energy Department released its annual prediction of winter heating costs today, which said that Americans won't be paying nearly as much for energy. Natural gas consumers can expect about a $30 drop from last year and a $767 drop for propane customers. And hands-free devices are supposed to be making driving safer, but a new study from AAA finds many voice-activated systems can distract drivers and lead to mistakes behind the wheel. CBS's Wyatt Andrews has more information.
Call John Doe.
Calling Donna Torrell at home.
Not Donna, no. Cancel.
Researchers were asking if the very latest hands-free, voice-only command systems
Hey Siri.
cause drivers to get distracted, and the answer is yes. One driver in a simulator whose voice messaging a Facebook update gets so distracted, she rear-ends the car in front. But the biggest problem is not the driver. The study concludes that errors made by the voice systems cause the greatest distractions. Here, the driver is asking Apple Siri to call a restaurant.
Cafe Trio.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
In the driver's frustration, she misses a prompt that measures her attention to the road. David Strayer of the University of Utah designed the study.
You'll be paying attention to that and not paying attention to traffic lights and pedestrians and other cars.
The study also ranked the leading car voice systems by levels of mistakes and distractions. On a chart where 5 is the most distracting, a Chevrolet with GM's MyLink system rated worst at 3.7, while Toyota's Entune system rated best at 1.7. GM said in a statement it is committed to hands-free systems and to improving our in-vehicle systems and verbal interfaces on behalf of our customers.
Radio.
Wyatt Andrews, CBS News, Washington.
Health officials in Spain have placed 3 more people under quarantine in a Madrid hospital where a Spanish nurse became infected with Ebola. More than 50 people are being monitored. Among those is the nurse's husband. The hospital saying he showed no signs of the disease, with his hospitalization being a precaution. This is the first infection we have seen outside of West Africa. The nurse was changing the diaper of a 69-year-old Spanish priest who was volunteering in the region. This task, when performed, is usually performed in a hazmat suit and is one that must be done with extreme caution. This month-long Ebola outbreak has killed at least 3,500 people and has infected twice as many. Turkey's president says Islamic State militants are on the verge of capturing a Syrian town near Turkey's border. Clashes broke out nearby this morning between police and protesters. CBS's Tina Kraus has more from London.
Turkish police fired water cannons and tear gas at Kurdish protesters on a hillside near Turkey's border with Syria. Demonstrators are demanding more help for outgunned Kurdish forces struggling to defeat ISIS militants in the Syrian town of Kobani. The assault has forced about 200,000 Syrians to flee to neighboring Turkey in the past 2 weeks. Turkey's president says ISIS is close to capturing Kobani, despite U.S.-led airstrikes. He's calling for greater cooperation with Syrian opposition fighters to take down ISIS. Islamic State militants have moved through one Kurdish village after another since their offensive began in mid-September. The strikes and shellings will not stop us, this ISIS fighter says. If ISIS takes Kobani, the group would have full control of a large stretch of the Turkish-Syrian border. Tina Kraus, CBS News.
A 4-year-old girl from Delaware brought a little something special to school for show and tell. The girl passed out hundreds of packets of heroin, thinking it was candy. Police say the girl accidentally took the drugs to school after switching backpacks. Several children who received the packets went to the hospital, but it appears none of the packets were actually opened and all of the children were released. The girl's mother, 30-year-old Ashley Tull, was charged with child endangerment and maintaining a drug property. And after the break, we'll have your weather and sports. Stay tuned.
How could a Malaysian airliner disappear without a trace?
This aircraft has now become invisible.
The big question is, which route was taken?
What new technologies could prevent another disaster?
Surveillance is the next evolution of flight operations. You know where everybody is for the first time, no matter where they are in the world. Losing aircraft would become a thing of the past.
Nova investigates why planes vanish.
Wednesday evening at 9.
Hello, and welcome back to Public Eye News. My name's Dane Wormlinger with your local weather. Happy Tuesday, everybody. I hope you're all enjoying the sweater weather, as you can see behind me in the Academic Mall. Right now in Marquette, it's about 55 degrees with winds north-northwest at 8 miles per hour, and the barometric pressure is holding at 29.49 inches. Looking into tonight, we can expect cloudy skies with a low of 36 degrees and winds west at 9 miles per hour. Into tomorrow, we can expect rainy skies with a high of 47 degrees and winds west at 16 miles per hour. Around the UP right now, in Sault Ste. Marie, 56 degrees with partly cloudy skies, 54 degrees in Manistee, 52 degrees in Escanaba, and in Menominee, 59 degrees with sunny skies. In Iron Mountain, it's 56 degrees right now with sunny skies, 50 in Ironwood, and 47 degrees in Houghton. And back here in Marquette, it's 55 degrees with partly cloudy skies. Looking ahead, Thursday, you can expect a high of 50 degrees and a low of 36 with partly cloudy skies. On Friday, 46 degrees is our high and a low of 33 degrees with partly cloudy skies. And Saturday, 52 degrees and a low of 37 degrees with sunny skies. Well, the weather's starting to cool down, but how's sports doing?
Well, I'll tell you something that's cooling down, the Lions kicking game. The Lions hope that the third time is a charm with finding a new kicker. Today, the Lions bring in former Denver Broncos kicker Matt Prater and former Arizona Cardinals kicker Jay Feely for tryouts, hoping that one of them will solve the kicking game that has been deficient in the recent weeks. The Lions so far this season have cut their 7th-round draft pick Nate Freese and Alex Henry, who missed 3 field goals in the loss to Buffalo last Sunday. Jim Caldwell says that he's looking for a kicker that can perform under pressure. In other NFL news, the Seattle Seahawks pull off a 27-17 win over the Washington Redskins under Russell Wilson's record-breaking 122-yard performance, the most in Monday Night Football history. Washington, though, struggled to gain any momentum on offense. Wilson also rushed for a touchdown, but the game came close at the end, even though the Seahawks jumped out to a 17-0 lead before Washington stormed back with 10 unanswered points to close the gap to 7. But in the end, the Seahawks scored with a touchdown and a field goal to close out the game. Finally, the NBA has struck a new television deal with ESPN and TNT for the next 9 years. The deal, which will start during the 2016-2017 season, keeps ESPN rights to broadcast NBA games and also keeps NBA games on TNT. ABC will remain the exclusive network for the NBA Finals. Also, ESPN and ABC will combine for up to 44 postseason games, including the conference finals. ESPN will continue to air the draft, draft combine, and draft lottery. So, Caitlin, I hear you have a story about squash, right?
Yes, it's a vegetable that's aptly named. It's so big it could squash you. Alan Bell and his grandson grew a 50-pound squash, and Bell says the vegetable is due to a combination of good weather and proper soil. But Bell says the squash isn't for sale. He'll donate it for fall decorations in his town. And imagine if you had to escape from a prison cell while handcuffed to a Russian. Well, this is a real situation for some Miami residents, and it's fun. It's called Escape the Quest, and groups of 2 to 4 have an hour to solve a puzzle and win their freedom. The manager says it's fun for all ages, but maybe not the best idea for a first date. Yeah, I don't think that I would take a boy on a first date there. That seems pretty intense to me.
Definitely the wrong choice when it comes to taking to a date somewhere like that.
But the squash, I would probably go on a date there. Seems kind of nice, pumpkin picking and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And that is all the time we have for today. Until next time, Marquette, have a great night.
Yeah, now we can talk about other stuff that's not related to squash or Russians.
The preceding program was produced in studios located in the Edgar L. Hardin Learning Resources Center by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television.